Okay, so this question, that is it a good time to buy? This is different it's going to be different for every individual, because you have people that graduated this year where they started, a brand new job, people that got married this year, they're expecting babies, where their parents are probably moving from India or any other country, and they need more room for their parents. They want to provide them a comfortable home, Yeah. But I want to go back to a little bit where this, and I know when I open up Google, the trending topic every day has been real estate market crash. Yeah. So this is what I want to say about how I feel about this personally. And I'm not trying to say that I'm this individual that's got endless experience. I mean, I have been in the industry or watching or observing the industry since 2002. So 20 years, right? When I saw the crash, and I lived through the crash, because, as I said, I was sitting there looking at those loans, which I knew that nobody was making payments on. Those loans that people never made payments on those loans. Now let's go back 3 years. All of the loans that I have closed in the last 3 years, people have either put 20% down, 30% down, even the first time home buyers where they got FHA loans, 3.5% down, 5% down. All of those homes have a lot of equity in them right now, even right now, even in this market. And I can't even tell you how many people went out and bought properties all cash in the last 2 years, Do you really think, or does anybody think that people where they put in hard-earned cash, 20, 30, 40% down, are they going to just let that money go and let their homes into foreclosure? No, that's not going to happen. Mortgages have been very, very strict in the last 10, 11 years. Every single document was underwritten very carefully. Lenders really made sure that everybody was like a qualified buyer that they were lending to. Lending did change after the last crash, which was in 2008. So, and then people that did not put 20% down or 30% down, they are locked into mortgages that are like at 3% or 3.25%. Some of them are like 2.5% on 30-year fixed mortgages. That's a very, very low payment. Now, their mortgage payments are way lower than what they're going to pay if they were to go out and rent same type of property, or even a smaller property, because rents have skyrocketed. Everybody's complaining about rents. So why would it make sense for people to start letting their homes go into foreclosures this time? And this is my reason why I don't believe there is going to be a crash, maybe a market correction, But I am still seeing properties in LA, in some neighborhoods in LA, where there are 15, 20 offers on each property. People are still competing because, now you have a little bit of room to negotiate, or maybe ask for closing costs, if you're gonna need help with that. But people are still buying. And now going back to, my advice for first-time home buyers is that the only time I will advise you not to purchase a property if your financial situation is going to change in the next 12 to 24 months. If you think that that your income's going to decline. No, do not buy. Definitely, please do not buy. However, if you have a job that has nothing to do with the real estate market, which most of our home buyers don't, you don't need to be so concerned about what the feds are talking about, because we have to remember, at the end of the day, they're talking about the entire country. They're not talking about one individual. And there are so many other things that are related to inflation. Real estate market is just like a part of the economy. This is not the entire economy. There is oil, there is goods that we import, export. I mean, all kinds of stuff. So life will go on. Life goes on during recession too. And if you really need that extra bedroom or yard, or you need to move because the neighborhood is just not good for your kids, you are going to have to move forward. And when we look at rates back in the 90s or 80s, people were still buying homes back then. It's not like, people never bought a home. Buying a home is one of the most rewarding and, self-satisfactory acts where you feel like you are providing for your family. There is no way I'm ever going to advise people not to buy a property. However, you need to sit down and you need to figure out what monthly payment you're comfortable with, and just start looking for that property, the one that fits your criteria. And even if you were going to pay extra $400 or $450 because of the higher rates, for the next 1 year or 2 years, the amount of closing cost credit you can get, or maybe put a lower offer on a property, it's still going to be your savings are still going to be way more than whatever you're going to pay extra for, let's say 1 year or 2 years. There everybody that had a higher mortgage back in the 90s refinanced during the 2000s. That's what people did. This is what you do. The loans don't even come with prepayment penalties anymore. I haven't seen a prepayment penalty on a loan in a very, very long time. So there will be an opportunity to refinance. And my personal projection, because I don't want to sit here and talk like an economist, make predictions about the market. I think that next year, even if the rates drop even a little bit, we're going to see crazy rush through all properties all over again.
I agree.
Because I recently saw that big builders have stopped building as aggressively as they were, which means in a town like Fresno, we are going to run into inventory issues again. Even if, for example, I'm just throwing an example out there. Rates are at 7% right now. Even when they drop to 6%, you can only imagine people that are sitting there waiting, where they needed to move yesterday, and they just listen to everybody on social media, on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Everybody's giving financial advice. They are definitely going to rush to the next rate fall, and then you will have multiple offers all over again. People will start bidding all over again. I cannot tell you, James, how many people I spoke with last year where I was updating their pre-approval letters every month. They were going out, putting multiple offers. I spoke to a couple. They must have put about 40 to 50 offers in Austin.
I did that.
Trying to get a starter home for their family.
I did that for my client.
And from your experience that starter homes, where you have 1 or 2 kids, and like an average size property is the most desired size property in the US. That's where people rush to go buy. So if you're in a situation where you think you can handle a little bit of higher payment for the next 2 to 3 years, which I think the rates will come down way before that, but just to prepare for worst case scenario, by all means, please go and start looking for a home for yourself, because there's that stress and the pressure of overbidding is off for now. We don't know what's going to happen next year, but it's off for now.
Do you remember back in 2020 during the COVID shutdown, and there was a huge forbearance that was going on where the government, so there's 2 types of economy, right? There's the stimulant economy and there's the austerity economy, and both controlled by the monetary and the fiscal policy maker. And if you guys don't know about that, it's pretty simple. We'll explain more into detail about that. But really, right now we're going to a higher interest rate, but we're still printing a lot of money, right? So we're still spending a lot, when are we gonna stop spending and raising rates is when we see a huge correction. Now, if we do both in terms of spending a lot of money and low interest rate, the economy is gonna continue to go up again. It's gonna go overload. So let me ask you this, right? Because I do see the same thing. Because the government, right, have a formula to stimulate the economy with the flick of their finger, right, at will, and they do not want to wipe out, the question is like, do the government want to wipe out all the middle class American wealth, right? Like, because majority of their wealth are in the real estate, like, do they want to wipe out all of it? And if they do not, right, then they already have a formula in which they already implemented. They've implemented the formula back in 2008, and they just, in terms of like reducing interest rate really quickly and also stimulating the economy and printing trillions instead of billion. During the next correction or the next depression, because we're in a correction right now, right? But we're thinking about the depression like maybe 6 years from now, 10 years from now in terms of a depression. Who knows what's going to happen in the future? A war, nuclear war, World War III, all, just a lot of uncertainty in the future, right? We have a formula to be able to kind of like stimulate the economy again, and we're a creature of habit. Do you think we're gonna continue to print money, right? Do you think that we're gonna revert back to the old ways? Because when times are good, people think good time lasts forever. When times are bad, people think it's gonna be bad forever. Do you think this bad time will last forever?
No, I don't think so. I think COVID was something that, at least, your generation or my generation, that was something we had never seen before. And you brought up the forbearance program, which is really interesting because I have talked to at least 4 to 5 people where they owe close to 40 to 50,000 in backed mortgage payments, So when everybody kept saying that, wow, there's a pandemic and the economy is just skyrocketing, stock market is just making so much of money, everybody's making so much money in crypto, consumer goods are selling like, that everybody's sitting at home shopping. Well, they were shopping because they weren't making their mortgage payments.
Yeah.
So that was a very artificial way of, boosting the economy, because you have told people not to make their biggest payment that they make in a month. And now they are $40,000, $50,000 behind that, do I believe that those people will end up selling? Probably, they'll either sell the property or come up with another way, cash out, or, become current on their mortgages. But they're those numbers are very, very small compared to 2008.
Yeah.
I mean, 2008, everybody's mortgages collectively just adjusted, If you were making $1,400 teaser payment, it went up to almost $3,000. It was doubled. This time, I don't see this lasting forever because I personally know so many home buyers where they have been saving for years, where they've been planning to purchase a property. And yeah, maybe they will wait another 3 to 4 months, but I know by the end of the 5th or the 6th month, they are going to go out and get themselves a home, which everybody is not a real estate investor. People that make the most noise during these times that, rates are up and properties are not selling, those are seasoned real estate investors or flippers where they make a living by flipping properties. Somebody who flips homes for a living, they do want the property prices to keep going up every month 10 or 15%, because a typical flip takes anywhere between 2 to 3 months. And by the 3rd month, if the property has gone up by, 40% or 35% or even 20%, that's pure profit for the person who's flipping. However, as a first-time home buyer, as a normal person, do you want the properties to keep going up every month? No, we don't. if properties keep going up even 10% or 5% every month, the person that I qualified last month, they don't qualify next month anymore, which is not the way to for a sustainable community. What type of world would it be where nobody could even afford to buy a home?
Yeah.
Just think about that. I don't think this is going to last forever. People will get tired of waiting.
For the
raising interest rates is just it's just a measure to control inflation that we forgot about because of the mandatory interest rate decrease, or because they decided that they were going to keep interest rates at low. It started during when Obama took office back in 2009, I believe, and nobody had seen those rates ever before, and there's a reason for that, because rates were never meant to be that low, like how they kept it. So that was probably a one-time deal. Usually, even if we get back to the fives, you will see how people go crazy buying.
Yeah.
I don't see this lasting forever.
But we got a handful of people that are waiting for 2023 spring to buy. This because I know for a fact like 90% of my people are just waiting for 2023 spring to buy.
But Fed just went and announced 2 days ago that expect the rates to go higher.
Yeah.
So those people that are waiting, they might end up paying a higher interest rate in March 2023 or April 2023. And because just like how they are waiting, there are a lot of other people waiting.
Yep.
So if 5 of those people show up to a builder's office compared to 3 people that are showing up right now,
yep,
you have less chances of negotiating your price or your upgrades or your closing costs with the builder than you do now. I have always bought a property during holidays, just to let you know, for myself. Anytime I have bought a home, it has been during these months.
Yeah. Because
this is when it's the least amount of activity, and there are more people that are there to entertain your offer.
Yeah.
That's what I believe in personally. And obviously I know that summer is the busiest time to buy, also the worst time to buy, because everybody's buying, so yeah.
So it's definitely for a first-time home buyer, definitely do reconsider your financials. Make sure that the most important critical factor, I would say, is making sure that you have a stable job, making sure that you know where your income is coming from, know where all your expenses going, and know how much wealth you have, right? That would determine if you can afford to buy or not.